Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Today's gonna be my episode 41, AEW Dynamite Before All In. So let's get it started. You had a face-to-face with the CEO Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm. Um, Mercedes came to the ring only wearing her TNT title. I honestly thought like maybe she just left the other belts in the back. They actually had them tied up for her on the rope. So when they were having their segment, you saw all her titles displayed, which was actually kind of cool. Um, but they were going back and forth a little bit, and Tony comes out on the jumbotron in black and white, and Mercedes finally says, "Well, you're not even here then to have this conversation." And Tony's like, "I got you," and comes out. Now they get into it. Um, Mercedes is pretty much saying, "I got this in the bag. This is my time to shine. I'm gonna get that title from you, and we're gonna keep it moving. I'm just gonna collect another title." So she's becoming definitely the belt collector. I mean, she's already has been. Did the same thing as Kenny, but if anything, she's won a couple more belts. Um, and Tony kind of threw a little jab in there, pretty much saying, "You've gotten every title, but you haven't gotten to the mountaintop." She goes, "You deserve every title out there," and then picks hers up and says, "Except for this one." So right there, they had some blows a little bit. Um, I cannot wait for All In, guys. This segment here, it was a little weird. Not gonna lie. Wanted more from it. I felt for a little bit the girls were rambling on back and forth. Um, but then Tony, like Tony Storm, like I said last week, she looked shook. She looked scared, but it looks like it finally clicked. Like we got to do this, and she pretty much told Mercedes like, "You can't have this title, bitch." And cannot wait, guys. All In is gonna be an amazing pay per view. Um, you did have Moxley talking about Hangman. It was like a nice promo for the most part, but again, he keeps rambling on, and I don't know what the hell Moxley is saying. Um, it's almost as if Moxley's trying to make sure that Hangman has it to take it from him, which is kind of stupid because you're doing all this shit on the side with the Death Riders and all that stuff, but then you have, "Hey Moxley, I need you to be that guy to take it from me." It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't fit. Okay. Um, but we'll go from there. Um, you had a match with Bandito, Brody King, versus Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. Um, all these guys in the ring together, separate, they're amazing. Together, the match was that good. Um, Bandito, for being a smaller guy, he's super strong in the ring. You can see it. He can do the high flying. He can do the backflips, all that. Kyle Fletcher as well. Brody King again, it's crazy because he used to be a heel when he was with Malachi Black and everybody in the House of Black. So it's just funny that the fans just love him so much right now. Um, he wore that abolish ice t-shirt, and I think that brought more fans to love him even more. Um, Brody King in this match, all four of these guys did amazing. Kyle Fletcher, like always, nasty beast in the ring, hitting hard moves. Even if he's doing the leg slap, it looks so crisp when he does his moves. Bandito, so crisp when he does his moves. Takeshita has always been a beast since day one. Like I tell everybody, Takeshita for me has been one of the best wrestlers that has come from Japan, from New Japan, and made something of himself. And yes, he has a lot of that has to do with Don Callis' family with that group, but Takeshita has definitely done more in my eyes for the guys that come from Japan and come to AEW. Takeshita, I see you winning the world championship. Looks like you're gonna do it against Bandito at I think Ring of Super Card of Honor or something like that. If I got that wrong, sorry. Um, but Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher win this match with Takeshita pinning Bandito, which is kind of like or foreshadowing, I feel like, for their match coming up on Friday. So it's possible we could see Takeshita with gold around his waist. Come Saturday, if anything, he might be at All In. So we'll see. If not, we'll see him on Wednesday night. Um, so you did have FTR and the Patriarchy kind of like, talking there. They're gonna have a match, or they're talking about pretty much scratching each other's backs, right? And Stokely Hathaway goes in and he's like, "Yeah, why not? We'll scratch your back, but we'll see how it goes." Just doesn't make sense that one of the best tag teams in the world, FTR, doesn't have a title shot, but you and your son do at All In at one of the biggest stages of them all. you guys have a title shot and you guys just became a tag team. But one of the best tag teams in the world doesn't have a shot. Like, how does that make sense? He's not wrong. I thought it was kind of odd that the patriarchy was added to that match against Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight, which I'm really high on Kevin Knight. Get that man, even if it's the pure championship, just get that dude some gold around his waist. He's going to be there for a long time. Um, I kind of understand how it makes sense with having those extra guys in it. It's going to be I guess a quicker pace match. I personally feel like Bobby Lashley and Sheldon would have killed Kevin Knight and Speedball, but it makes sense to put two other guys in it because there's a different factor in that match. But FTR did say, whoever wins, we're looking for you. We're coming for you. So we'll see how it goes, guys. It's getting real thick for All In there. You had Ricochet versus Blake Christian. I've mentioned in the past, or a couple episodes rather, that Blake Christian to me has been like a quiet soldier. He's been doing his thing, man. The shit that he does, yes, you have Will Ospreay that can do it. Yes, you have this, but to see another guy come in that's super quiet, super humbled. Yeah, he plays the heel part, but he's doing his thing, man. Like, how can you take that away from him? Like, yeah, he's been taking some L's with the guys. They're building him up. They're giving him his props. They're showing this guy that he's there. But in all honesty, Blake Christian, man, my hat's off to you, man. Like, you're an amazing in the ring. That's why it made sense to put you and Ricochet together. Both of y'all high flyers, both of y'all doing your thing. If I'm not mistaken, the crowd was definitely behind Blake Christian tonight or yesterday. Um, to be honest with you, I don't know if he's homegrown there. Maybe he's a hometown guy, but they were definitely feeling Blake Christian. He was definitely feeling the crowd. And I didn't see this before, so it might have happened on Collision. Looks like Ricochet finally picked his group or his crew, and it seems to be the Gates of Agony. So while Blake Christian at one point was actually getting the better of Ricochet, and then you see the Gates of Agony kind of like circle around the ring, kind of cause him to lose focus. Long story short, Ricochet does pull the win off, and the Gates of Agony just start beating him down for a little bit, and then just pose in the ring. So it looks like Ricochet has his goon squad. But to be honest with you, the Gates of Agony, I feel like they've been joining everybody. At one point, they joined Swerved. At one point, it was the Cage of Agony. Um, and then now they're with Ricochet. So it's like they almost can't do things on their own. From what it looks like, they almost are always forced into a group or something to that effect, and they're always the muscle of that group. Yes, they are the muscle. But what I'm saying is, you guys don't let these guys do nothing else but join a group. This is now their at least their third that I know of or that I can remember that the Gates of Agony have joined. So, but we'll see what Ricochet does. He said he wanted to have guys that could do their thing. But if he didn't learn from what happened to Swerve, the Gates of Agony turned on Swerve. So that's probably going to happen down the road at some point as well. You did have a good promo with Kenny Omega and Okada there. They showed some of their past matches. Again, a lot of these matches were a few years ago, 7 to 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. A lot older guys. But Kenny's pretty much telling Okada this will be the final time that we wrestle. Don't know if one of them is going to retire or they're just going to move away from each other for a while. But then Okada pretty much says, probably one of the cleanest English I've seen him say, "I'm going to kill you." So this match is going to be insane. I've already said if I could see the Okada from those video packages they've been showing show up and Kenny just gives me a fraction of what he was in New Japan, this match is going to be amazing. To be honest with you, if they don't bring it, it's gonna be kind of a letdown. I hope these guys bring it. I hope these guys fucking put on a tremendous fucking show. All In's already stacked. If they do their thing, they're gonna be match of the night. I'm telling you, if they do their thing, they're gonna be match of the night. Um, Finally, you had MJF and Mark Briscoe's talkie talk. So originally, MJF didn't want nothing to do with it. He was like, "I ain't gonna deal with this," and Hurt Syndicate was like, "Yeah, you ain't gotta deal with it. We'll go out with you or whatever." And then when they go into their dressing room, they realize that Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight stole their tag team titles. So now they're loose. They lost focus. Oh shit! You go deal with Mark Briscoe. We're gonna go find their titles. So they go chase off after them. And he finally gets in the ring, and you start hearing kosher pickle. You start seeing Mark Briscoe grabs a sign saying MJM's got a small pickle or whatever with the sign from the crowd. And then you keep hearing Kosher Pickle in the crowd. They go at it for a while, you know. He calls Mark Briscoe inbred, you know, country boy, all that shit. And Mark Briscoe's like, yeah, you know, you're smarter than me. You got more money than me, but I'm a real person. You know, I earn my respect. I've earned every dollar that's ever been put into my pocket. You know, pretty much showing that he's a man of the people. And then Mark Briscoe finally turns to him and says, I already know what you're gonna do. You're gonna talk about my brother, man, but I've been waiting for this. So I've been building myself up to do what you gotta do. And for a while, MJF was praising the shit out of Jay Briscoe, who passed away a few years back, and gave him his flowers. Man, he's one of the best wrestlers ever. He's this, he's that, you know, just praising the shit out of him. He was like, but if your brother could make it back here somehow, some way, he will look at you and say that you should have died chicken and not me. And that's when it all changed. Don't know where I guess they call him chicken. Don't really know, but that's when it all changed. They start going at it. The Hurt Syndicate come out, try to attack Mark Briscoe. Um, you had Speedball Mike Bailey come out and Kevin Knight attack the tag team champions there, the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. And then after that, after they were beat down, you know, Mark Briscoe chases fucking MJF out of the fucking arena. You have the fucking patriarchy beating down on the fucking tag team champions. They picked their spot. They made sure they were weak, of course. But it just makes me think, are they going to force the tag team champions to lose? I personally don't think so, but that's how they're making it look. Like there's a possibility they can lose with going against two tag teams. You know, it looks good. It looks really good, honestly. Um, but, you know, Mark Briscoe, MJF will be the first entries in the Casino Battle Royal. It can end with just them two, but let's see how it plays out. I do think that MJF would win that, and the Hurt Syndicate is going to have a lot to do with it. But you guys let me know in the comments. You did have Megan Bain, Tekla, Queen Amanada. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. And then you had Ty Mello. Honestly, I personally thought that Ty Mello was going to win. She just came back. Thought they were going to try to push her heavy. Decent match with these girls. You saw that Ty Mello and Megan Bain were kind of going at it, kind of reliving their rivalry from the first match. But she was like, "Bitch, I ain't scared of you," and they went at it. But the two girls kind of pulled them apart. You know, Queen Amanada and Tekla kind of pulled them off. But this was a pretty good match for the four of them. They all look strong. They all look really good in the ring. They were all selling their ass off for each other. So these four girls put on a great match. Um, you know, Megan Bain pulled it off. You know, Megan Bain was tossing girls around. If I'm not mistaken, she took Tekla and threw her out of the ring to Ty Mello and Queen Amanada. So she threw him kind of like what she does with Penelope Ford, throws them off over the ropes there, and she takes the win. You did have Chris Statlander watching to see who was going to be her opponent for number two. Well, going to be Megan Bain versus Chris Statlander for number 1 and 2 for the Women's Casino Battle Royal. But I got to go back to what I said last week. Does she owe the Death Riders a favor? Because the Death Riders made sure she won her match. Now she's gonna have to pay Moxley back, and maybe that's how Hangman loses. Now again, I want Hangman to win, but if she causes Hangman the match, she found herself a new family with the Death Riders, and they help her win her way to a women's championship. It's possible, and that could be her rivalry with Megan Bain go up it again. They cost Megan Bain the match. Megan Bain's chasing her for the women's championship. If Chris Statlander gets there, of course. But it's going to be a good match between the two of them. Both hard hitting. Yeah, they made Chris Statlander look weak in the past, but I feel like that's going to change here. I see those girls going for blows. They're probably going to be two of the last entries in it, but we'll see how it goes, guys. Now, you did have a match with Samoa Joe and Yuta. Kind of feel like this was a throwaway match, honestly. Um, it just came out of nowhere. I understand what they were doing. They were the two entries, the two players left from their group. So Joe's part of the Ops. You have Yuta part of you know, the Death Riders. So you had them go at it. Decent match between the two. You know, I'm not trying to be funny though. Yuta, you're not gonna beat down no big ass tree. Like, yeah, you were doing some good moves. You were playing possum. You did all that. Samoa Joe hit his spot. You know, you went to jump off the ropes there, and he was like dazed. And he moved out the way. He was like, "Oh shit!" Like you fell. Like, so that was pretty funny. Joe does take the win there, And then Joe gets attacked by Gabe Kidd. Again, Gabe Kidd came out of nowhere, and he's pretty much yelling at Joe. Well, Gabe Kidd comes. You have Hobbs and the rest. I forgot his name, man. I'm so sorry. But you had the ops come out, save Joe, and then you had Gabe Kidd in the crowd. Like, what? Y'all forgot about me? Yeah, we did. We haven't seen you in a couple weeks, man. Yeah, we forgot about you. We thought you was in New Japan or something, but you know. The next match though was an all-star 8-man tag. You know, they've been doing these for the past couple weeks. You had Shibata, Hobbs, Will Ospreay, and Hangman. Where's Swerve? You know, I'm surprised Swerve wasn't there. But then you had the Death Riders, you had Mox, Claudio with the Young Bucks. This match was all over the place, honestly. It was just insane. Everybody was doing their thing. I'm surprised they had a match so close to the pay-per-view. Yes, it's a couple of days down the road, like 3-4 days or whatever, but I'm just surprised they had pretty much everybody who's going to be in the pay-per-view wrestled tonight. Could have, someone could have gotten injured. Look what happened to Liv Morgan. And this was a couple weeks before the she got hurt before the match at Evolution. So that changed everything for WWE. So I'm just surprised everybody who's going to wrestle was wrestling tonight. But good match overall. Gabe Kidd got into it. Yuta got into it. You had Joe come back and make the save. They were about to like choke out Hangman with the chains. And then whose house? Swerve's house goes on the Jumbotron. And Swerve is pretty much in the cockpit. I think it's a bulldozer. So if I got that wrong, sorry. But I know it's like one of those grave diggers or something to that effect. And he just starts smashing the shit out of the Young Bucks limo. Just takes the claw and just boom, like 3 or 4 times, and just keeps talking shit as he's doing it. Now, at one point, the Bucks run out to go chase and see what's going on. They run out, and it pretty much ended with the Bucks there. You had the Bucks looking for Swerve. He fucking like lifted up their limo onto the side, so the limo's literally being held up by the claw of the gravedigger there. And they're looking for him. You had Prince Nana over there dancing or like talking shit. He's like, yeah, we're gonna kick your ass. And we turn around, Swerve stomps the shit out of both of them. Whose house? Swerve's house, because everybody the bird. And there you go. Honestly, guys, great show before All In. The build to All In has been great this year. Cannot wait to see. I'm gonna do my predictions probably Friday night, maybe Saturday morning before All In, and the same thing with before Evolution. Not gonna watch Saturday night's main event. Not excited for that, and I'm not gonna watch NXT, guys. So if you guys ask me, I'm not into those shows, but can't wait for All In, AEW All In, 3 p.m. start time. They are in Texas, so 3 p.m. start time, and you're gonna have Evolution on Sunday. So let's see what it is, guys. I'm excited for All In for sure, and hopefully, ladies put on a good show at Evolution. But again, guys, All In. I'll do my predictions. Again, Saturday morning or Friday night. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.